Hello everyone, welcome back. Today in the workshop we have the Japanese maple flreglow. If you remember, earlier in the season we did a pretty drastic cut back and the tree looked very bare. Not so much now. Just as I anticipated, explosion of growth. I mean, it's just got it everywhere. Not necessarily in all the places that I wanted it to be, but we've got some pretty decent growth out of it. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be selecting the branches that we're going to want to keep, eliminating the ones that we don't want to keep, and then taking those primary branches and potentially letting some grow freely, and then cutting some back to start a ramification process. I've got a lot of branches coming out in the same location around cut sites on this tree, so to avoid having a reverse taper or a knob at a branch intersection, we're going to need to start doing this. So let's get started. What we're going to use to do this with today, since we really don't have any large branches to deal with, we're going to use a spherical, hopefully you can see that, concave cutter. See how it's curved on the back here? Unlike a regular concave cutter that's just straight. You can tell the difference here. That one's just a straight angle. And this one's curved. This is just a little bit smaller and easier to get it in tight spots. And then of course we're just going to use some scissors. And like always, we're going to start at the bottom of the tree and work our way up. So we're going to start on this branching side over here, and then come to this branching side and then work the top. First thing I want to do is come down here and I want to eliminate anything growing in this direction towards the trunk. So, you know, a lot of this stuff I'm going to be able to even come in here with my fingers and just pinch it off and it'll be fine. So I don't have a whole bunch growing in towards the trunk. More so I have, like for instance this, I've got 3 branches growing out at the same spot and then another one coming out this way on the side. Actually 2 coming out this way on the side. I don't need these growing in the front. I'm just going to pull them off. That simple. And I'm going to leave these 2 here that are growing this direction, which is the direction we want it to go. And we're just going to keep kind of doing that all the way up the tree. Now if you look back here, I've got 2 fairly close to one another. And I've got this one here and this bottom one here. I've got 2 here in the same location on the tree potentially. A really strong back one and then this front / side one here. I do need a back branch in this area, but I have this one here lower down on the tree and I think that's going to be better for me in the long run. So I want to eliminate this upper one. So that's where these spherical cutters come into play. You just come up here and whack that off. Keep this one, which is down farther on the tree. We've got these front ones here, and then I've got another one here. They're kind of stair-stepped or triangulated, so none of them are in directly opposite of each other, which is going to help with that swelling in those areas. Again, I've got 2 of them here. This is the outward one. I'm going to keep the most outward on this branch. I would like to eventually cut back to this area, if possible, because from here up I have nothing. So I would like this branch eventually to be the outermost branch, or the outermost leader on this branching side of this secondary trunk, if you will. I'm going to zoom into this area so you can see what I'm talking about. I was really hoping that I would get more back branching than I did in different areas, let's just say. I got a ton of back branching, which is awesome. However, I kind of wanted it all the way up and down that branch, which I really didn't get. And you'll see that here in a second. We've got 3 that came out here, 2 that are on this side, 2 in the back, 2 up here. If you look, there is no budding or back branching anywhere along this, in here anywhere. And yes, I've got a large wound site here, and behind here I've got a large wound site here, which sucks. They've been stabilized. There's wound callousing going on there. But next year, if I don't get any back branching, or this after this first cutting back, I don't get any back branching in this area here, I mean, we're talking about a long hang loose worth of branch here with nothing. It's going to have to be eliminated. Just the facts. It is what it is. Hopefully, when we do this cut back of this upper part right now, I'll get some back branching in that area. If not, we're cutting back to that one as the next leader. As you can see, it just popped out as a whirl up here and gave me nothing down below. Now, there are dormant bud sites all the way up and down this branch, so fingers crossed we'll get some more that pops down there, and that way I'll be able to eliminate it. Because if you remember, back when I did this initially, this branch and this branch are almost at the same height where I cut them off. And I need one of them to be lower than the other. Naturally, this one over here is higher up on the tree, so I'd like to have this one a little bit lower on the tree just to kind of offset that balance. So if we have to cut back to this branch here, we're cool. I'm not going to cut this one back. I'm going to allow this one to grow freely and thicken up a little bit, so that in the event that I do need to cut back to it next year, it will be more than happy to be the new leader and just take off. So let's visit this branch over here now on the tree and do kind of the same thing we just did over there. First things first, look around, see if there's anything growing on the inside towards. There is not. Next, look at all the areas here. Let's verify that we don't have a bunch that are growing in the same location. We have 2 here that are in the same location, and 1 just a little bit farther above it. Naturally, I'm going to want to keep this outside one and eliminate this inside one because it is kind of congesting this back area here. And it's just in the wrong place on the tree, in my opinion, which is right here. And it's clogging up this. The main trunk, just a little bit above that area, has another one on it trying to occupy the same area as this one. And because we have one almost in the same area on the outside of that main trunk, we're going to keep that one and eliminate the inside one. So we're going to take these spiracles, get in here again, and eliminate this. And that's all this year. I mean, since spring, and it's got a lot of good ramification on it. Hopefully you can see that. I mean, it's got a lot of good ramification on it. And it's pretty darn thick. I mean, it's almost pinky size. It's just in the wrong spot. Alright, now let's continue up this branch. Now I've got one kind of growing in an upward type direction. I've got a three-way here. Zoom in a little bit on this so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. Maybe. This whirl of branches here, if you look, I've got one branch here, and one branch coming up this way. That's 3 in one spot. We don't want that area to be a bulge. So naturally we're going to want to remove the one that's growing upward and keep the 2 that are growing outward. So we'll just take our scissors up in here and eliminate that one. These are the ones we're keeping. We get similar situation here. We've got 2 coming out about 1/4 of an inch above where the split happens here on this branch. Actually, we have 3 of them. And naturally what you want to do is you want to eliminate the strongest one and keep the 2 weakest ones, which are going to be this one and this one. We actually have one here, and we have a very weak one in the front. Almost directly above that, we've got another branch node situation there that we got to deal with. Oops. So we're here, just eliminated one. We've got this wee one here and this strong one here. Because one of them's quite a bit larger than the other one, I might even just eliminate that one as well in favor of the one smaller one. That's smaller. It's starting to get a little bit larger than the branch below it. Of course, that's kind of a no-no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that one back, and I'm going to leave a nub because there's actually a leaf right here directly below where I just cut it, and there could be a dormant bud there, and if that's the case, then I'm going to have another branch come out there. And I've still got this branch here directly above these, which is smaller. So as we're going up, of course, we want to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So we'll keep that one for now, hopefully. Actually, no, we're not even going to keep that one. Heck, we've got some smaller ones than that even directly above it. We're going to go out on a limb on this one here. Cut it all the way back to just this one leaf, and let's see what happens. Just a little experiment. I've got a stub here with one leaf on it. It's kind of tangled up with these other 2 leaves. I've got this stub with one leaf, this down here with one leaf, and that's it. And directly above there, I've got some smaller ones that are popping up. So if it does nothing for us, we haven't lost anything. We'll eliminate it and move on. If it does pop out, great. But it's kind of congested in that area, so I want to thin it out as much as possible because we don't need all these branches in this one area. We've got 3 here coming out at the same spot. It's actually 4. So of course we eliminate the strongest one, the strongest one, cut this all the way down to just this one weak branch here. That'll be good. That. And again, just like the other side, you can see I got a good amount of back budding down there. However, I've got nothing from where we were just cutting everything back up to the end. I mean, we're talking another, 4, 4.5, maybe 5 inches where there's nothing. So again, we're going to need to figure out what we're going to do there. Yes, I cut this one back. Maybe I should not have done that. However, I left this weakward one back here in the back alone, which is almost at the same height. It's actually, they're almost at the same height except for one's tilted just a little bit higher, which the back one's tilted just a little bit higher than the front one. So if that needs to be the dominant one next year, we can wire it into position like this, and it'll be the dominant one, and this front one will also already have some ramifications starting. So, what's going on with all these leaves here? I have done nothing to this thing since it's budded out this spring. Just let it grow, just to see where I would get back budding and what would maintain and what would not. Alright, now we'll zoom out a little bit, and that brings us to the back of the tree. I'm kind of excited about the back of the tree. I'll show you why here in a second. It was lacking majorly in back branching, but not anymore. Got this little one here on this side, down low, which you can barely see in the picture. I've got one right here. The top of it died back for some unknown reason. I've got another one right here, which I don't really need. I've got one way down here in the bottom of the trunk, down here, that you can't even see right now because it's just a dormant bud. And then I've got this big mass up here. And again, like most, it's got way too many coming out in the same location. So let's start deciding what we want to do with that. We've got these two here that are interfering with this back one that we just got done talking about. So I'm going to eliminate both of those to give all the light to this back branch here. I've still got one, two, three here. And of course, like I always say, keep the two that are growing kind of outward and eliminate the one growing upward. So we're going to go ahead and do that, which really frees this area up for light for this branch right here to maintain and also gain some strength. Now directly above that, here, let me zoom in there because that's the back side of the cut that we made up there. You can see it fairly well, but I want to zoom in just a little bit further. We've got a lot going on back here in this one area. We've got a branch down here, we've got a branch directly behind it, we've got one growing directly up, and then we've got this dominant, stronger branch here. I could let this grow freely to help with wound healing. However, we're going to get a nice, not nice, actually ugly bulge right here, which is already starting to form, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to kind of thin it out a little bit. We're going to take this lower one off, we're going to take this upper one off, that leaves us with this back one and this main one. I'm going to take this back one all the way down to one leaf, and then what I'm going to start doing is, this one has another upward growing branch here that we don't need. Now that leaves us with a threesome. It leaves us this one main branch, and we've got three coming off of it. So cut the middle out, keep these two, and then I can wire these out like this, and that'll make a nice back branch canopy up here. Like I said, we got some lower ones here. I've got this goofy thing here down. I think that's dead. Looks like it died. Yeah, it did. There's another one down here that tried to grow, but it just died out. Now that's going to let more light get in here to the ones that we want to keep. And these are still really strong. You see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of leaves on them. I want to bring that back to 2 sets of leaves on both. 1, 2. It's going to kind of put that thing in check and also help it back bud and ramify a little bit further. This one here below it, it's also a back branch. We're going to take that back to 2 sets. We're going to take this one back to 2 sets, and that's pretty much where we want to be for the back of this tree for this year. This one here we're going to take back to 3 sets. These over here, we're going to leave 2 sets. Like I said, we don't want any of this stuff to get really carried away or way out of hand. Even though they are lower down on the tree, they're pretty thick in regard to, or in relation to the ones that are directly above it. We don't want them to get too carried away, because if they get too carried away, then they're going to be disproportionate. Alright, looks like we got some goofy little bubbles going on up here. Looks like some sap leakage maybe. This thing was weeping pretty bad still after the fact. I think that's what that was. I had a really large cut right there. Let's see. We've got 2 here. 2 here. Got this one and this one. They're just barely out of the camera shot. See the base of them, but they're just barely out of the camera shot. And a lot of this stuff's kind of congested in here, so it's hard to see, but we've got these 2 branches here. Hopefully you can see them now. We've got the weaker one and a stronger one. Now normally we take the stronger one out and leave the weaker one. However, the weak one is intersecting with this weak one, and that's not really what we're after, even though I'm going to be bringing this one out this way, more than likely. This one eventually is going to encroach into this area, so we're going to eliminate this one in favor of the one above it. Keep that one, take that back to 2 sets of leaves. And that brings us almost to the top. Let's readjust the camera again. I really want to get in close on these shots for you guys, because I think it's kind of important that you see what I'm dealing with and how I'm handling what I'm dealing with. If you can see it. It doesn't look like you can see a whole lot of detail. Let's see if you can see where I'm at up here now. Again, we've got the same or a similar situation here. That thing was growing downward, it's gone. We've got a very dominant branch here, a weaker one directly behind it, and one here on this side. So I'm going to take that dominant one out in favor of the 2 weaker ones. There's actually quite a few of them growing in the same spot there, so let's eliminate this strongest one first. I'll take a look here what we got. It's the weaker one. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Take this back. 2 sets of leaves. Take that back to 2 sets of leaves. Take this to 2 sets of leaves. This one isn't as far along in development as the other one, and that's why I'm taking this one back to 2 sets of leaves instead of 1 set of leaves. Just to give it a little bit more energy for healing. Alright, let's take a break on that middle one. Let's work on these side ones now. We're going to go back to this outside one that's kind of squirrely. This one here. And I apologize for you guys if you think this is taking too long or giving too much information or getting a little bit too detailed, but I'm just going to go in here just like I did on the rest of them, take the dominant ones out, leave the weaker ones behind. Because there's way too many, and this thing has got a whole ton of growth on it. Not really necessary. Anything competing in the same area for the same light is going to be cut back. Some of these I got 5 and 6 coming out at the same spot. That's pretty much how you handle that. Just go in there and eliminate a whole bunch that's not necessary. Keep what is. Matter of fact, I can actually take that one too. Just kind of crisscrossing. Straighten it out. This one here will probably be eliminated in favor of this back one eventually because it's kind of growing in towards the tree. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed now that you can really see there's nothing between these and that. It's just barren. Well, this whole area here, nothing. But that's what you get sometimes. Alright, now let's go to the other side and do the same thing. It's not as bad, I guess you could say, or not as congested in a way. Got 3 big ones coming out from the same spot. Growing directly out of the top. Alright, that's pretty much that one. Like I said, the open, the harder I cut those back up there, the more they're going to want to put out back budding. Now let's tackle this jungle that is at the top. Let's just do this. You don't need to see the very tippity top of the canopy because you're not. I don't think you're going to be interested in that. Really, what's important, what's going to be going on down here where I'm going to be doing all my trimming. Now this one's going to be a little different. And what I mean by a little different is I'm going to keep the dominant one as the leader. Anything that's got really long obnoxious growth is going to get eliminated. Crossing over the front. Like that one. They're growing straight up. Some of these are still growing straight up here because that's the apex. So you can expect some of that. 1, 2. Cut. 1, 2, cut. It's like a dance. 1, 2, cut. 1, 2, cut. It's got 4, 5. Good God. Oh, dude, what's going on? I didn't even see you there. Sorry. Sorry. I'm done. Promise. I'm done. You're good. I'm done. Just stay where you are. I'll take you back out. I'm done. One more. I'm done. That's it. Stay there. Stay there. You're alright. You're alright. I didn't even see you back there, bud. Holy smokes, guys. Here I am cutting this apex up, and check it out. We got a dude that's living in there. We got a resident. Where'd he go? Oops. Sorry. Where is he? There he is. Anole, the resident bug keeper. So because of that, guys, we're done with this tree. I don't want to disturb him too much. I want to allow him to stay on this tree because this is home. He's chosen it. We're not evicting you. Just stay where you are, okay? You're cool. Stay right there. These guys are pretty chill with me because I'm kind of out here all the time. They don't really see me as a threat per se. I don't ever try to go after them. Kind of calm around them. Try to stay calm around them. Don't get all freaked out about anything. So they're pretty cool around me. We'll do a quick 360. I want to get this one back out there so he can finish out his evening in his new trimmed hedge. And again, just keep doing the same thing we're doing with all of them, and just keep cutting it back and not letting anything get really out of hand. No drink, dude? Get your drink. That is possibly a male. I think that's a male anole. It's got swollen basal. No, it's a female. Are you a female? Anyway, I'm into reptiles as well. So that's it for this tree. We'll get it back out on the bench and keep it growing. I, in the anole, thank you for watching.